Hello! A little bit later than originally planned, only by, let me just check if my watch will let me, 6 minutes. Yeah, delivery. And there was no point going live with Neo shouting his head off because you wouldn't have been able to hear me. But anyway, hello! Oh, hearts already from Alexa Witten. So, yes, I'm here today for World Book Day. I am in a different location to be away from the small person who is downstairs who will probably try and steal my phone. So I'm upstairs, and yeah, as the description says, today is going to be the first ever live reading of When Wally Gets Angry. So I'm coming live from my Future Footsteps page, which is slightly different to my Wally's World group, because it's the front sort of page of the business. So before I get into like the book and things like that, a little about me and how I have become an author, because I am now a fully fledged author with 2 children's books and number 3 is in the planning stages. So basically as a child, I had a lot of different things going on, quite a few big traumas, loss of my dad when I was only 10. We then lost my best friend to cancer when I was only 14, as well as quite a lot of bullying in school and things like that. So as a child, my ability to regulate my emotions was not the best. And although I had the support that was around when I was going through all this, there wasn't a lot that was available. My school weren't really able to do much in terms of pick up on the things, the behaviours that I was showing and this, that and the other. So basically as an adult, not knowing how to understand my emotions that well, I had a massive breakdown, which I'm quite open about talking about. So this happened in my early 20s, which led to time off work, not wanting to leave the house, loads and loads and loads of different things going on. And it was all because I didn't understand the way I was feeling and I had no tools. I had no strategies to actually know how to regulate these emotions that I was feeling. So I then myself went to loads and loads of different therapies, which literally changed my life. And it was from that moment I then thought, well, do you know what? When I got myself in a better place, I just thought of all those children that I see daily, because I am also a primary teacher, so I do see a lot of children, and I see a lot of children that do suffer. And I don't want these children to grow up the same way that I did and end up with this massive blow that was just so hard to cope with. So what I do now as a children's empowerment coach is I write stories, I create resources to empower our children to be able to have their own emotional regulation toolkits. So they have the strategies that they can start using now, so when they're older, they're automatically in place. So if they have huge challenges like maybe bullying in the workplace or difficult people that they come across or loss of a friend or a family member when they're a bit older, or even as, you know, children that have experienced Wally and his mates that's sitting back here, the monsters are all here to help with this whole idea of being able to regulate our emotions. So obviously we all went into lockdown. I'd started running some workshops. My first workshop that I was running was all based around mindfulness, which is an absolutely incredible technique. So before Wally even existed, I had Menace, the mindful monster, who shows up on quite a few of the resources, and he will show up in books later on. But then obviously lockdown happened, and I wasn't able to deliver workshops. I wasn't able to do one-to-one sessions with children. And it was a bit like, well, how do I help now? Like, the world's in crisis. What do I do to help? So, yeah, Luna was only a few months old when I started writing. And I've always enjoyed writing. It's always been something, a bit of an escape to help with things. I used to blog quite a lot about my running, loads of different things. So writing is a great therapeutic sort of technique, as, yeah, it's fab. So I started writing while Luna was taking little naps when she was little, and along came Wally. Here he is, little Wally. And it was from that idea that we always refer to our kids as little monsters and things like that, that I then thought, well, let's have a little monster that actually experiences these challenges that children do, because telling things through stories is a much more relatable way for children. Hello, Kylie, joining from the magical world of Mushroom Marvellous. And hi, Stephen, as well. So telling stories through characters like Wally is a much more relatable way for children to actually learn about topics that are slightly overwhelming. Like when we talk about emotions, it can be really difficult for children to actually want to engage in it, especially when you talk directly to them about their emotions. So when we take the pressure off them and talk about emotions from the point of view of some monsters, it makes it so much easier. So you're able to like go into different situations. So for example, book 1, when Wally gets brave, is all about the idea that poor Wally is hiding away in his cave. He's very scared about trying anything new. His friends often come round and ask him if he wants to come out and play, and he's like, no, got things to do. He's forever making excuses because he's just too scared that he might get things wrong. So his friends then come along and show how they've made mistakes when they've been trying things that they enjoy, how they've had to learn from getting things wrong, and that actually when we make mistakes, that is the best way of learning. So having Wally as that character, when your children are then trying to start something new, they might be like, I've got a little boy who's actually dressed as Wally today for World Book Day, which is amazing. A little boy who started playing cricket, and he was feeling a little bit nervous about it, meeting all these new children. Oh, would I be good? Will I not be good? That sort of thing. Will I fit in? And what he has done to get himself there is imagine that he's wearing a cape, and he always says, you know, I've got my Wally cape on, I'm feeling brave. So it's that idea of when children get in these situations, you can say to them, well, what would Wally do? So in terms of feeling brave or doing things that take you out of your comfort zone, even as adults, we sometimes do need to put our big pants on and be brave. Like Wally. Hello, Alexa Tewksbury. Yeah, so that was the first book, When Wally Gets Brave. And then we've got on to what will be coming for the live reading very shortly. We've got When Wally Gets Angry. So this story is based around Wally obviously discovering this feeling of anger, doesn't know what it is, and his good mate George, the angry monster, comes along and helps him. So again, a topic that kept coming up in Wally's World, which is the group that I run, which is a supportive community filled with loads of different activities that help build these emotional regulation toolkits for our kids. There's different tips, there's all the different bits, obviously, about the books and things like that. You get exclusive news in there. Stephen, I don't know what you mean about my voice. I haven't got a Scooby-Doo what's going on with this accent. Like, who knows where I'm from. Yes, Wally and George are obviously here in the background, Kylie. They have to be. So, yes, come join the group if you're not already in, because it is a fabulous little community. But for the very first time, oh, thanks, Kylie, she's tagged the group, I am going to read When Wally, I know I said George, When Wally Gets Angry. And this book is all about helping you feel calmer in those angry states. So, I'll read the blurb first. Have you ever felt so angry that you didn't know what to do? I struggle with my emotions, and my friend George does too. Getting angry is totally normal. We all do it from time to time. It's completely okay to feel this way. It really isn't a crime. Join me on my journey as I learn new ways to cope. There's lots of special ways to help, so don't give up and lose hope. Let's learn about this feeling alongside my very good mate. Discover how George can help me deal with my grumpy, angry state. So, let's find out. There's a few different characters that come in here as well. I will read and then pop up a couple of different pages as well, because otherwise they sit like this and it's really hard as a teacher. So, Woody Monster Wally always wears his cape with pride, not like before when worries and fears made him hide. Now he feels strong and brave when trying something new. He takes on challenges, pushing himself. He really is can-do. But one day Wally stumbled on a feeling that he hated. a bubbly hot feeling in his tum. He was really quite frustrated. How do I deal with this then, this emotion? He found himself thinking. When it happens, I shout at my friends. Poor Wally's heart was sinking. He felt so lost and so ashamed of this anger he had inside. All his crossness made him feel like he was on a scary roller coaster ride. I've got it, he cried. I'll visit my friend. He knows this emotional state. I'll talk to George. He gets angry. How he deals with it is great. Hi, Alison. So off Wally went to see his friend, his cape held tight in hand. He was still feeling mad at this grumbly emotion he didn't quite understand. When he arrived at George's place, he was met with an interesting sight. His monster friend was flat out on the floor. Wally asked him, "Are you all right?" "Yes, thanks, I am," his mate replied. "I've been calming my frustration. When we play games, my brother always wins. I get angry in that situation. I grit my teeth, I stamp my feet, I even start to shout. Then I realise I'm feeling mad and it's time for me to get out." Grounding is a great exercise. It's why I was on the floor. It helps calm me down. Wally butted in. "Oh, please, George, tell me more. I've been struggling with anger too, and I really need your advice. I've found myself doing some hurtful things, and I haven't been very nice." George gave Wally's shoulder a pat. "It's going to be okay. We all get angry sometimes, we do. It's normal to feel this kind of way. Let me teach you some things to do, some techniques for inspiration. This will calm your anger down. It will boost your self-regulation. It starts with finding a quiet place, get comfy to focus your mind, then using your senses to concentrate and leave your frustration behind. Name 5 things you can see, my friend, and 4 things you can hear. 3 things you can feel, and then say them loud and clear. Name 2 things you can smell. Go on, and 1 thing you can taste. Now you're feeling calm again. Your anger has been replaced. Wowzers, George, Wally gasped. What a great thing to do. I can walk away, find some space, then use this technique too. Wally was feeling fantastic that he had something new to try, but he still didn't quite understand anger, and he let out a great big sigh. George recognised Wally's feelings and wanted to comfort him. "Let me explain about anger," he said, "so you can stop feeling so grim. Our brains are really clever. They react in different ways. When we're mad, 'Let's protect ourselves,' is what our brain starts to say. That's when it's hard to think straight and everything gets a bit cloudy. Our lower brain is kicking in. It takes over and gets kind of rowdy. Our brain is in 2 parts, you see, and our higher brain's more realistic. But the lower brain, when it feels cross, gets crazy and goes ballistic. It's important to take control of yourself and not end up in a mess. You can use your anger to do awesome stuff and really be your best. So go on and try some different things and soon you'll see the gain. Let anger be your motivator to be the boss of your brain. Anger can be such a scary thing for anyone to feel, but don't be embarrassed or afraid to share. Your feelings are all real. Just take some time to learn new ways to get back the control. If you get something wrong, take a breath and continue towards your goal. Fill your emotional toolkit for all sorts of emotional states. Build your resilience. Learn new ways to grasp how to self-regulate. Wally, you know how it feels to be scared, to get out and try something new. So put your cape back on right now because you can do this too. Anger is a big emotion. It's true. It can have a big reaction. Just get to know how it feels and then you can spring right into action. Anger sometimes starts in your tum. It can even make you feel quite poorly. If you feel this way, you might start to sweat. But just remember this story. Our emotions are such a huge part of us. They make us who we are. But don't let them get you down because you really are a star. It's great to learn about emotions and understand how we feel inside to conquer things like anger by using our techniques with pride. We're all unique, a 10 out of 10. Although we might feel like a 0, just put on your cape, control your emotions, and be a superhero. From that day on, Wally felt much more confident, more alive. When he noticed that grumbling in his tum, he remembered the magic 5. I need to practice these techniques so I don't upset my mates. As long as I'm calm and focused, I can control my angry state. Hi, I'm Wally, he cried out with delight, the monster who can be brave. I love being with George and my other friends. I don't have to hide in my cave. My emotions are real, he continued to chant. I'm strong as the tallest tower. So grab your cape, come learn with me, and unleash your super power. And that is when Worley gets angry. So obviously it's my book, I'm going to big it up, but the way it has been written is in that fabulous rhyming sort of prose which has been perfected by the incredible Alexa Tewksbury, and then pulling the whole thing together, Alexa Whitten as typesetter and publisher, to create a fantastic social story which you can use with your children to help them deal with this massive, massive emotion. Like, Luna is 21 months old. She's only young. Yes, she doesn't understand all the terminology that's in the story. However, she's already beginning to understand what anger is as an emotion for her. We use a slightly different page with Luna, with her being smaller, so she's not quite got the magic 5 just yet. But she uses this page here where George is laid on the floor. So when she's starting to feel that emotion of anger, we tell her, we ask her, are you feeling angry? Do you feel like George? And she knows who George is. She's always talking about him because she now has her own plushies. But we ask her what she can do. And she lies on the floor, she gets herself a cushion, and she has a bit of time to chill. And it does already help calm Luna down. And yeah, she's only 21 months old. The story is now also being used in schools to help children learn different techniques, so they have these strategies at their fingertips, because the idea of learning them young is that they become automatic, so that your brain learns to use these techniques like this. So you don't have to think, right, I'm feeling angry, what do I need to do? Your brain will just react for you. And that's how we talk about becoming the boss of your own brain, unleashing that inner superhero, because then your kids can control their emotions. They can be the bosses of their own brains by learning with Wally and all of his monster mates. So that's obviously one technique that you can use for anger. Another thing that I'm going to share before I disappear off to do all my mum things that I need to be doing. Oh, thank you so much, Verity. No, definitely not. You're never too young, never too old either. Some of us adults, it's actually, I've just had someone buy, when Wally gets angry, for a 60th birthday present for someone that sometimes gets in a bit of a wobble with their anger. But anyway, so in the group I have been running the Monstrous Quest, which is just short little activities that you can do with your children to start increasing their emotional intelligence, their different sort of tools that they can use for a wide range of emotions that they feel. So we've just had one of the quests, which is in the group. So if you want to get involved in the quest, you need to join Wally's World and then search hashtag the Monstrous Quest. Defo get it for Gaz. I'll write him a personalised message if you need me to. That's not a problem. So yes, the Monstrous Quest. Task number 1 was a mindful activity. So it was Wally introducing Menace. And it's a short little activity that involves getting yourself a cuddly toy, some cushions, and doing a little bit of breathing on the floor. And then the idea is that you share into the group that you've been taking part in the Monstrous Quest. The more things that you share using that hashtag, the more sort of entries you have. So by the end of it, typical, one thing that I've forgotten to bring up with me is the winner who, when I do, you know, one of them little wheel things, spinners, forgotten what they're called, the randomizer thing. So you put everybody's name in. If you've shared 3 of the Monstrous Quests, you'll obviously have 3 of your names on. If you've shared 5, you'll have 5. If you've shared 1, you'll have 1, so on. So obviously the more you get involved, the more chance you have at winning. And what you will win is one of the little boxes of confidence cards, which have, let me think, I think, is it 24? It's either 24 or 26 little cards that all have positive affirmations on. So they're fab to bob in a kid's lunchbox, so when they go to school they can get a little affirmation out. They're fab to share in the morning to start the day off on a positive. You could read one before bed. You could play different games with them, asking the children which one they think they are today. Loads, but they're just a really positive little uplifting sort of message, which is fab for our little ones to hear, because it can really help develop that positive mindset. So if you've got kids that quite often speak negatively about themselves, practicing things like affirmations is a really good way to start, and it's quite easy and quite simple. So that's what's up for grabs as a prize. So today I'm going to share part 2 of the Monstrous Quest, which is going to be with Hetty. Now Hetty is the monster that will appear in book 3, so that's why you're getting introduced to Hetty. So, oh, thank you, Alexa, because I often wonder if I just chat rubbish. So I'm glad that people do understand what I'm talking about, because I live in my own little world and everything makes sense in this world, and it does to the monsters too. So I'm glad that it makes sense to others as well. So I'll need to double check I am sharing this into the group as a PDF. It will go out. If it's not scheduled to go out, I will make sure this comes out as a PDF. So you will get this as a download. It'll also go in as an image file so you can see it as well, and you can open it up on your phone. So this is part 2 of the Monstrous Quest. Me being me, because I love the outdoors. It has an outdoor theme. So, hi everyone, thanks for joining my quest. Don't forget, it's about having fun and just trying your best. So outdoor activity number 2, it's an outdoor hunt with Hetty. So first of all, you need to find an unused cardboard box, and then you'll need a pencil and some scissors, and an adult and a camera. If you're an adult doing this, just make sure that you think you're going to be safe with the scissors. So with an adult's help, what you're going to do is, so Blue Peter moment, here is one I made earlier. So I've got my cardboard box, and then obviously I drew Wally onto the cardboard box, and then cut it out. So you have like a frame, but the picture goes in the middle. So what you're then going to do, once you've got, if you can create a monster, obviously do a monster shape. If you're struggling with that, you could do your hand, you could do a heart, any shape that you want, but obviously monsters would be right on brand. So you cut out your monster, which adults, this is definitely the bit you're going to need to do because it's quite tricky. What I actually did to make it easier was cut the card in half and then stuck it back together, because it did make it much easier to actually be able to cut out. So then when you go outside, you're going to take your little frame and you're going to put it in front of different outdoor sort of textures. So these photos will come up. I'm going to hold them up and hopefully you'll be able to see. So like I've got it in front of a tree and the sky. He's then in front of some different kinds of leaves. This is a bush at the bottom of my garden. I've then got the sky again, because there was actually no clouds in the sky that day. And then my lovely AstroTurf as well. Here he is on lovely AstroTurf. So these are fab that they make such nice different frames with different colours. I just did these ones in my garden, and unfortunately all my flowers aren't in bloom just yet. I now have daffodils, so I should have gone out and taken them with daffodils. But if you can venture out of your garden and find different sort of textures with lots of different colours, you'll come back with some amazing photos. And the idea behind this is simply being outside in the fresh air and breathing in fresh air, even if it's a cold day, feeling the different sort of, like the wind on your face, the different temperatures, and just not being inside those same 4 walls has a huge impact for our mental well-being. Like, it is unreal how incredible being outside actually is. So much so that because I love the outdoors so much, I have created a full-blown parents course, which is perfect for anybody that loves getting outdoors and wants some different activities. It's perfect for home educators that are looking for engaging lessons that you can do with your children. Well, not really lessons, but activities that you can do with your children outside. And it's all about developing self-esteem, self-confidence, and building these kind of techniques whilst being outside. And there's so much that you can do just in your local environment. You don't have to go far to be able to use these sort of techniques. So they are, the course is actually on the Parents Hub of my website. So it's the futurefootsteps.co.uk/Parents Hub, and you'll find the different sort of courses that are in there. And you get a whole PDF download that comes up, so you can go out with your phone and the activity comes up on your phone, and you can go out and explore and do these fabulous different outdoor activities. I did it last summer. I was very lucky that I was able to run the course as an actual physical course. So I had 4 weeks in the woods, but there's 8 activities in total, and you also get a little certificate as well to say you've been a nature monster. So if you need to know anything else about that, obviously do come and ask. But massive thank you to Kylie for organising this absolutely incredible World Book Day, the 25th anniversary. It's been an honour to be a part of it, and as well as sharing obviously everything that I've done, the books, the resources and all the other things that I do, I want to sort of finish off with a little tip for those people that might be watching thinking, well, how have you done all this? How did you get to this point of actually being able to have your books out there? Because there'll be people watching, people listening that have incredible imaginations, that have awesome ideas that are sitting on a note on their phone, like when Wally Gets Brave was. That's where he started, in a note on my Samsung phone. Nothing special, you know? And there will be some of you here watching. And one thing, and I am going to talk about a mistake that I made. So obviously I love When Wally Gets Brave to pieces. It's an absolutely gorgeous story with such a positive message. However, the mistake I made was I just wanted it out there. I rushed. I was so excited to become a published author that the whole process, I just did it as fast as I could. And what I will say is, if you're going to do this, take your time. Really think of what it is that you want your book to look like. Read loads of different books in your sort of age category, or the sort of theme that you're going for. Find out how you want the illustrations to look. Alexa Whitten talks loads about how to pull a book together, but it is so important to just slow down. I am terrible for needing everything done yesterday, and I will own up and say, yes, I made the mistake of just wanting it out there. Although this book still is absolutely fantastic, you will see a huge difference with the two of them. So, When Wally Gets Brave has some double sort of images, but as you can see, the text, it's just the story. So it was either a double page spread with text on it, or it was the single page with the text at the side. So there's loads of children's books that are out there, and this is how they're set out. So it still is a fab story, fab illustrations, and it is really worth a read. However, when it got to book 2, I was like, I want something different. That's not me. I'm a bit all over the place, so I needed a little bit more. So what the incredible Alexa Whitten helped me do, who... Hi Kim, this is Michelle from AMD and Me Makes My Plushies. They are available on the website to buy and have in your own homes. They also have removable capes, so you can role play the stories with them. Yes, they're pretty... Oh, he's going to fall over. They're pretty awesome. But yeah, so going back, this book then has... Let's find a different one. So for example here... We've got the half sort of page, so you've got the single page with the illustration, but I've then had bits where it's got a smaller image here, and we've got differences with the text, and this was the biggie. Like, yes, Alexa, I totally agree, book 1 is still absolutely fab, and the story behind it is incredible, but the look of this one is just more me. And that's the kind of idea I just want to get across to anybody that is thinking of writing. Think of what you like reading. What do you enjoy reading? How do your kids, like, what books do they pick up? Do they pick up the books that have the different fonts? Do they pick up rhyming stories if you're going to write in rhyme? Like, what are their favourite kind of images. So just really think and do your research what it is that you want your book to look like, because yes, both books are awesome and they are an incredible series. You can really see how I have actually grown as an author through the differences between the two books. So yeah, so if you are thinking about writing, join the Reluctant Writers, which is Alexa Whitten's group, because that is a fab way to actually get started, and then you're going to make some amazing #bookmates, like all the incredible people that are part of this fantastic 25th anniversary of World Book Day that Kylie has put together. So I will stop rabbiting on because I don't even know how long I've been talking. But yeah, get involved. There's still time to obviously go back into the event and catch up if you have been busy, because I know life is very hectic. So do go back in and catch up with everybody else that's been sharing, and there's still loads more to come from even more incredible authors and authors to be. Yeah, keep up to date. And of course, the hoodie is pretty epic. I now wear this with pride because do you know who I am? I'm a published author. Anywho, right, I'll let you all get off, and yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.